So could it be that maybe the reason that you are still having trouble getting to where you want to be health wise, weight wise, or whatever, because you actually really don't believe you can get there? Um, I think it's very possible. You know, if you're not already in the process of reaching the goal, and you find yourself starting and stopping, or not even starting at all, it could be, that you just don't really believe. And don't tune me out. Just kind of hear me out. Because I'm not insulting you. I'm saying it from my own experience, and I'm saying it, as a person who um, has grown in his understanding of what it really means to believe something. Um, there's a Bible scripture that says, um, all things are possible to him who believes. And it's something that Jesus actually said himself. And like, one thing I found is that as a, like, well, I found that, that's a very commonly quoted scripture. However, I found that a lot of us, myself included, don't really take that at face value. We kind of we add something to it. Like, we add like a religious kind of air to it, such that we don't really believe that everything really is possible to him who believes. Or we think that, I don't know. So, case in point, the reason why I say that some people may not believe and that's what's causing them to not reach their goals is because, think about it. If you really believe something is possible, it's going to shape the way that you live. I'm not saying that you won't have setbacks and things like that, um, or that you don't have a process to go through. I don't mean that at all. But my point is, like, when you believe something, it really affects the decisions you make. It affects the actions that you take and what you go for. Like, it really does. So, like, for example, um, for me, when I set out to lower my body fat, I had been motivated by seeing some of these people who were really ripped and all this kind of stuff. And, it was something that I pursued for quite a while. And I wasn't just successful like that. It was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of plateaus. And when I say plateaus, for those of you who ever tried to lose weight or to gain weight or whatever, you know exactly what I mean by plateau. Is like when you get to that point where, like, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, where it just stops coming off, and it seems like you kind of make changes, or you might work out a little bit more or something like that, and it's not budging, and you don't really know what to do. And those often are the times where, you know, we drop off because, you get discouraged. Like, man, what's going on? And so I had several plateaus on my road to getting to like a roughly 10%, 10-11% body fat. But what I had to do is I just had to keep on going. I just had to keep on going. And ultimately, once I got to about 10% body fat, like, I wasn't really, to be honest, I wasn't really like ripped the way I wanted to be. But I decided that I was good. I don't know if this band is gonna work. Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't really work the way I was hoping it would. You really need something more firm, like a towel. But anyway, once I got about 10-11% body fat, I kind of really realized more so what it took to get that lean, and I decided I was kind of done with it, And so, like, I don't know how it is for some of these people who No, that's not gonna work. This isn't really firm enough. I don't know how it is for some of these people who, like people who are in the public eye, who are lean 24/7. But I know, like for me, it was a lot to get even the 10, 11%. It was a whole lot, and I decided it was kind of like not really sustainable for me as far as like the kind of lifestyle I wanted to live, because I had to be very, very conscious of like the food I was eating, and you know, I wasn't eating, as much as I wanted to eat, because you kind of have to feel hungry and stuff like that. Now I will say one thing I do think is that one thing I do think is that maybe with higher muscle mass, it'll be easier to lose fat, but that's not the subject of this video. But the point that I'm making is, I believed, and I kind of kept on pursuing it, even though I kind of got, I hit plateaus. It was me believing that I could do it that kept me going, And so I believe that's really what belief is. It's like, if you really believe that all things are possible, think about that. All things are possible to him who believes. It doesn't matter how much weight that you have to lose. All things are possible to him who believes. It doesn't matter what the ailment is. It doesn't matter how long you've had the high blood pressure or diabetes. All things are possible to him who believes. It doesn't matter how long you've been out of shape, how long you've been out of high school, what high school being when you were in your absolute prime. All things are possible to him who believes. The question is more so, it's not so much of, how long it's been or what you're dealing with, it's whether you believe it or not. Because if you don't believe, then like I said, what happens is the moment something kind of gets a little challenging or whatever, or something challenges your your belief, then you'll quit. But belief and faith for that matter, they don't quit, they don't just give up. It's just like, this is happening, period. You see what I'm saying? And now I understand that's kind of what belief is. So again, I know I probably talked to a lot of people who are seeking to get leaner, to maybe lose weight, to get your weight in a healthy range. If that is you, you probably have a road ahead of you, but don't worry about that. All you really need to be concerned about is cultivating your belief and your faith. Do you believe? Do you believe? If you believe, you got it. You set out and say, I'm going to whatever, boom. And then, walk out your faith. Walk it out. Lose the weight. Period. And believe and hold on to that belief without wavering. And do whatever you can, to really cultivate and nurture that belief. Do whatever you can, to really cultivate it. Okay? Whatever it is, and make sure that you're around people as well who are going to cultivate that belief. Because a lot of times people will say, yeah, you probably not going to be able to do that because X, Y, Z. But again, remember, all things are possible to him who believes. That's the person to whom the things are possible. Why? Because think about it. If you don't believe, then of course it's not going to be possible. So essentially, it's going to be a set of things that you're not able to do because you don't believe that they're possible. That's what makes them impossible. So it don't matter how much weight you got to lose. It don't matter how long you had high blood pressure. It doesn't matter. If you believe it's possible to overcome, then it is. Enough said. So that's all I got today. I should have brought a towel down to do my stretches, but I didn't. So And I did do those same hamstring stretches with a towel earlier today after I did my cardio, so that counts for something. Y'all have a good one. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.